It's showtime.
What's happening, guys? Django, Fett here, hunting down games, comics, TV shows, movies, and more. And this is Star Wars Battlefront 1. The real Star Wars Battlefront experience right here.
Ma, the meatloaf! Fuck!
Coming out in 2004 for PC, original Xbox, PS2, and developed by Pandemic Studios, and published by LucasArts. This is a single-player slash multiplayer first-person slash third-person game where you can choose one of 4 factions from either time period. Galactic Civil War with Empire and Rebels, and Clone Wars with Confederacy and Republic. And if you have played the Battlefield games, you pretty much know how the Battlefront games work out. The good ones, of course. Before I explain the actual mechanics of the game, let me explain the PC deal with this game. Now, unfortunately, the game as of 2017 has never had a Steam release. Why? I have no clue. You have to actually physically buy a disc and install it. But come on, who has discs anymore? I mean, psh.
Come on, don't bullshit me.
Now, only Battlefront 2 has it on Steam, but Battlefront 1 doesn't. I mean, hopefully, eventually, I hope it comes out on Steam. That would be really cool and have multiplayer, even though I don't think it will exist. But that would be really cool to have it on Steam nonetheless. I would actually rebuy it, even though I have the Xbox game and now, Xbox version as well as now on the PC, so, wouldn't mind it on Steam as well. Before we get to the meat of the game, let's discuss the options and performance of this game. Pretty standard stuff, nothing really crazy that jumps out. It's really in 720p or close to it with easy, medium, and hard difficulty. I just forgot how unforgiving hard was and switched it to medium. Played the majority of the game in hard, but there was times where I had to just switch to medium. But the real appeal for this game was playing it in 60 frames per second, and I had no issue considering it's quite an old game playing it. It was a magical experience, and it helps to play it on a 4K monitor. I did have some weird bugs with the vehicles spinning out of control, which I did not understand because I installed the latest patches to the game. Maybe I'm missing something, but it was kind of weird how all the vehicles were just going nuts for no reason. And for the sake of the review, I will not include the mods for the game, but I'll probably mention it for Battlefront 2, and there are more mods for Battlefront 2 compared to Battlefront 1. But Battlefront 1 has, some mods, though probably not worth mentioning in my opinion. So there is a single-player campaign, aka historical campaign with the 2 eras. So 2 campaigns, more than I can say for EA's Battlefront.
You are a smelly pirate hooker.
Clone Wars and Galactic Civil War, both all together, which will take you about 2 to 3 hours total. But that's not all, by a long shot. We also have instant action, where you can choose the planet and, choose the faction you want to fight in. And then we have the first attempt, be it an unrefined attempt of galactic conquest. Basically, you have a map with a couple of planets, and you attack each other to acquire planetary bonuses. And after 4 battles, you can swarm and destroy a planet. The goal is, as the name says, conquer the galaxy. Back in the day, there was also multiplayer, but I never actually got a chance to play it. There is a co-op option on consoles, but not on PC. So it's a co-op, split-screen experience. It's actually pretty cool. I didn't get a chance to play it as of late, but I remember back in the day, it was pretty cool for Galactic Conquest and instant action. Pretty fun. Alright, so how does the gameplay work? Like I mentioned earlier, if you're a Battlefield fan, you know how those games work. So, when you start instant action, for instance, you choose your era and map. In advance, then you choose your faction, and then have 1 to 5 or 4, depending on the faction, units for that faction, and choose your spawn point. You can pretty much switch the units and spawn points with ease. As soon as you die, you can choose a different unit. So the goal of each battle is to either capture all spawn points throughout the area or destroy all of the opposing factions or units to 0. So if you notice on the top it says 250 green and 250 red, you want to make sure to get the 250 down to 0 for the red, or as close as possible. You definitely want to watch out for your green and make sure it's up on the high note, and make sure it's higher than the red. So you can shoot and gun down enemies using your specific weapons and controlling vehicles as well. And there's none of this vehicle card bullshit in this game.
You're shitting me. I'm not shitting on you.
You can grab any vehicle you want, anytime, even an enemy's vehicle, and just grab it and control it. Pretty simple. You can control ground vehicles and even space vehicles, be it that they don't go out in space, it's just like a land battle thing. So basically Bespin. Just look at Bespin, you know what I mean. But space battles would be included in the second game, Battlefront 2. And all of the faction units have a purpose. We have the standard infantry, the pilots that have a shotgun that can, you know, fix things, supply health and ammo, and fix vehicles. Snipers, which are the marksmen, and even can call down a bombardment on like units or vehicles or whatever you want. And then the heavy infantry, which is the explosions expert. And lastly, the special unit, which varies for each faction. We got the Confederacy with the Droideka, which is pretty fucking OP. Republic with the Jet Trooper, which has like a freaking rocket launcher and you can fly. Rebels get the Wookiees, and Empire gets the Dark Troopers. They also have their own vehicles which vary and which you can steal at any time if you get lucky. Next, the presentation. Obviously, this is a game from 2004, so it's dated, so don't expect the game to look great. But the setting and the actual feeling of the game is an actual Star Wars battle. This game just absolutely nails it. And the feeling you get when you and the enemy are fighting tooth and nail to kill that one last enemy, and you have that one life, and you win that battle through grit and determination, that's pure exhilaration. There's nothing better than that. Fighting with a shit ton of AI against a shit ton of AI enemies is so much fun. It feels like the fighting matters, and it feels like just a real surreal Star Wars battle. And you can switch to first and third person pretty easily in the game with the flick of the switch, or a key in this case. And it doesn't really break down immersion at all. It feels very fluid. You can even do this in vehicles too, and controlling them isn't too hard at all, minus the one weird issue I had with the spinning vehicles. Now the sound. The sound is fantastic, bringing in the soundtrack from the movies, and having blaster fire and explosions from the movies makes it all the more realistic and amazing. And we even have Lord Django, aka Tamora Morrison, doing voice work for the clones in this game. Not that much, might I say, but it's still, you know, him doing the voice work, and it's pretty awesome. The guy is a freaking legend. I mean, come on. Now, if you have played Battlefront 1 or haven't played a Battlefront game, you need to start with Battlefront 1 and play it. It's worth every penny. You can find it for like 10, 20 bucks online with a couple of other games. It's worth it, man. I definitely recommend it. I really can't think of too many flaws with the game, minus that little bug I had. I just love that I got a chance to replay it once again for the millionth time now. And also, if you're wondering where's the Episode 3 content in the game, just remember, Episode 3 came out in 2005, so that was a year later. This one came out in 2004. But don't worry, Battlefront 2 covers everything. So Battlefront 1, without a doubt, gets a... Now, I need to tell you guys my first experience with the game. My first experience was back in the day when this game came out. I went to the Best Buy randomly and found a PC kiosk. They had those back in the day. And I remember playing it and having played with Battlefront 1942 and Battlefront 1 on the PC as well. And, you know, playing Battlefront 1 on the PC was just incredibly addicting to me. And I was just playing in the Bespin map, and it felt like I was just battling hundreds of enemies, even though it was dozens. And it just felt great. I just couldn't stop. And my parents called me, and I, you know, many times from that experience, I think I went to that Best Buy a couple times just playing Star Wars Battlefront, and I just couldn't let go. That was like my discovery of the game. Then I bought it for the original Xbox later on, and I still have this copy to this day. But the PC version is superior without a doubt. The game sold a lot of copies, and at the time it was actually the highest selling Star Wars game of all time, up until Battlefront 2 came out. So Battlefrontathon is continuing, and in 2 months in October I'll be reviewing Battlefront 2. Then in November and December it's EA Battlefront 2. Yay!
You're in big trouble, though, pal. I eat pieces of shit like you for breakfast.
You eat pieces of shit for breakfast?
No.
I'm really not looking forward to that game at all, in my opinion. But I will be reviewing it nonetheless and giving you guys my thoughts. So look out for Battlefront 2. I think you guys will really like that review. I have a lot to say about that game, as I do with this game. So thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to please like this video, comment down below, tell me what you think of Battlefront 1 and your first experience with the game. I'm just curious here, guys. And don't forget to subscribe to my channel, Django Fett, and I'll see you guys on the next Star Wars gaming review. Peace.